65, 71. Hello and welcome back to the workshop, and you see me following up from last week. If you remember, I had quite a big problem that I'd hit. The bottom rails, well, the panels were too short for the sizes of the frames that they were going in. So I just threw it open to all of you that are watching, and I've really been amazed and so grateful for the way that you've come through with plenty of suggestions. And so that's what you see me doing here, just following up on some of those suggestions. For example, I have been in the process of the dry assembly to test the joints. I've been then taking everything apart, and that's worked well, but Jim, thank you so much for the suggestion you've made. He said, leave the framework built, just remove one piece at a time. And that's such a simple suggestion. I just hadn't thought about it, because that way I won't get mixed up which piece is going where. So you're on with that one, Jim. But the best solution I've come up with, thanks to you, my subscribers, was from Bill. He said, can I remake the top and the bottom rails, make them wider so that the panels will fit, rather than trying to glue something onto the bottoms of the panels themselves. And so that's the choice that I've gone with. Yes, it means I'm going to have to do more cutting of stock and finishing that down to the correct size, but that's going to look neatest, because the other upside to all of this, it will mean that aesthetically the whole project will look better. Something I remember reading many years ago about picture framing, for example, when you have the cardboard inner frame to put the picture in, always make the bottom wider than the top, because aesthetically it looks better. So that's what I'm going to be doing here, and that's what you see me doing now. I'm in the process of measuring what size I need, then I know how much extra stock to make. My neighbour Tim said, if there's enough wiggle room, could I reduce the size of the cupboards? No, that's not an option, because my wife has stipulated they must not have a smaller size than she currently has. So that's what I'm doing with these. I'm just going to be getting to know how much the new rails need, and then I can process that timber. Professor Vapes, thanks ever so much for this, and I thought I was doing checking, but he said check, check, check and check again, and that's a lesson I'm desperately going to need to do. And for a future project, Todd suggested dry fitting the frame before I cut the panels to size, and again, that's a good suggestion, Todd, thanks ever so much. And I must say as well that I'm so pleased and happy to see so many others becoming subscribers to the channel. We're up to nearly 360 now, and the channel just keeps growing thanks to you and your contributions. And one of the new subscribers, Michael, he's going back a bit. He made a suggestion after watching episode 3, so this is 3 years ago, something like that. I was having a bit of a problem with keeping the components in place while I glued up, and he suggested adding a little bit of table salt to the glue. That would add just that little bit of grain to help hold things in place while I put the clamps in. So again, lovely suggestion, Michael, thanks ever so much for that, and we'll come to all of those later. So I've done the side frames, I've got those pieces measured. I'm just going to do the doors and then work out exactly what pieces I need to rework. So I've looked at all of the frames, both the carcass frames and the door frames, and I need, on average, they're about 68mm wide. They range from 66 to 71mm wide. So I'll work everything to 71 wide, then I can adjust as and when needed. But the linear size is just over 2.7 meters. Now, I've got plenty of rough stock. I've just got to process it all. And then for one of the problems I had last week, the two uprights in both cupboards, so that's front and rear, those were too short as well. Now, I can't get an exact measurement for that at the moment. So what I've done is I've taken the existing pieces, and I remember from last week the short upright, which is the one for the rear, should have been roughly there. So I'm really 20mm-ish short for the total length. So what I've done, just to estimate, I've taken that length as the length of the shortest rail, and so those two are 680. The difference between the two is about 50, so I've added 50 to that to make 730, and that gives me a total linear measurement of just over 5.5 meters. So that's going to be quite some work that I've got to do, because it means getting the planer thicknesser out and starting all over again. But hey ho, we are where we are. So I'll get everything set up, and then I can decide which pieces I'm going to use. Having gone through the stock, I've come up with just 3 lengths. They are thick enough so I can take them down to the 19mm for the rest of the stock without too much waste. They are wide enough so that from 2 of them I can get 2 lengths. Now they are, this one is That's 120 mil. What? No, 120 centimetres, 1.2 metres. So I can get two widths out of that, so that's 240, and I only need 270 anyway for the rails, so I can get that, the rest of that out of that one, and then for the others, which is about the same, 240-ish, out of that one and out of that one, which is slightly narrower, but because these will only be 50 mil, that's going to be ample to get two lengths out of that as well. Okay, so set the planer up. I'm using a blade depth of 2.5 mil, so it's taking a fair chunk off each time, and I've made sure that the fence is square to the table. So ears, I've double checked that the vacuum is in the right place. I've opened which gates I need, so 200, 200. There we go, that's that one, that's that side down. Oh, that one's almost flat. A little bit of a concave there, so that will be that side down. And again, almost flat. So that'll be the side down. The hopper is obviously jammed. absolutely rammed. the two widest boards are down to 20mm, so I think I'm going to leave it at that. The smaller piece is already down to 19, but you'll have noticed I keep having problems with the piping continually clogging, so what I'm going to do is call it a day there, tidy up, and then we can close up for today. Okay, so the 3 planks that I've just machined, so next time it'll be ripping them down the middle, and then I can cut them to length, and then I can start processing the new mortise and the new tenons, and on some of them the slots as well. So more work, but it's going to be worth it in the end. Thanks for coming along with me, and again, if you've got any comments, please let me know, because I always love hearing from you, and I'll see you next time.